Good evening. So as we say, best for last, of course. I know it's 5:30, so I'm going to ask you to stay a bit longer with me for, of course, the best subject of this OXP, Swissdec certified payroll in Odoo 19. So last year I was in the exact same location with in a tough position because the development was done. We were waiting for the papers, and I could not tell an exact date on when will we be certified. So this year I can finally say that Odoo is finally certified Swissdec for 17, 18 and 19, and of course all intermediary versions. And I would like to thank everyone, every partner for their patience, and that I'm very happy that these past few months of hard work have paid off. So what am I gonna present today is how does it look like in the new version? How can you use it? And here's first of all the QR code for all the questions. I know you guys will have some, so I'll let you like a few seconds to scan it. And my objective today, just this, will be to make you an expert in 20 minutes. It's a bit of a lie, you won't become an expert in 20 minutes, but you will get the idea on how to implement a database for Swiss payroll very quickly. To do that, I will showcase you all the steps needed to do that. And for that, I will just teach you by example and just jump into a database and do the whole flow with you. So the first step, the funniest one, the favorite part of my job is to encode insurance amounts and percentages, of course. And I know it's boring, but it's a very important step that you have to follow thoroughly to get everything correct. So we'll jump into our database. What is the first thing that we need to configure? Is our work locations. So my company, first of all, is based in Lucerne, in this address, in Switzerland. So I will create one work location in that place. And you can see that this is a kind of a new feature where the canton and the municipality gets auto-completed based on the zip code. And here you have all the relevant informations of your workplace, which are the weekly hours, or these two fields if you're doing statistics transmission. That was the first step. Then we need to get our accident insurance. I will do this very quickly because there's not much to learn here. So we input the insurance code, which is used to identify the insurance for Swissdec. So not every insurance supports Swissdec transmission, meaning that you have a list on the Swissdec website where you have the list of all the insurances that support the transmission, and here you will be able to find this code. So we create our group. We create our different rates, 1%. Our company can choose to pay the employee part with 0 or 50%. If you wish to pay all of it, this is set up in another place that I will show you. That was the LAA. We then set up the LPP, or as we say in German, BVG. I've done this many times, huh? And then, of course, the main one, the AVS. We set up the two insurances that we just created, set their validity date on 1st of January. And for this one, all the rates come from, of course, the official numbers, since every AVS is subject to the same percentages, except for, of course, the administration fees that may vary based on your canton. Here we'll say 1%. Oops, I inverted it here. Up. And now we have our complementary insurances, which is the LAC. And we'll create, to make it simple, just one solution where we insure from 0 to 200,000 francs. 1%, 1%, 50. And we do the same process for the sickness insurance, IGM or KTG in German. Let me check that I did this correctly for the LAC. And boom, everything is set up in terms of insurances. What do we have left? Since we'll have employees that are subject to source tax, otherwise it wouldn't be funny, we need to set up our source tax institutions, meaning that we're going to communicate with the ACI of Luzerne. We introduce our DPI number. And the last step, oh, I forgot this one, which is the for the family allowances. And here we should have everything to make salaries. Of course, it's 5:30. Maybe I missed some steps. We'll see at the moment of the payslips. The last step will be to create our wage statement profile that everyone receives at the end of the year, where you specify the different benefits that your employees have, where you fill this generic template that you can assign to employees, and on each employee you could have a specific one for them. So that was the base. Then we're ready to create our employees. So I like to always make one simple example: monthly employee, fixed wage, nothing going on, Swiss nationality, no source tax, and one tough one where he lives in France, is cross-border, and has a weird situation with hourly salary, and make it as complicated as possible. So let's start with the first one. So Laurie Poiret is Swiss. We revamped, I know you guys are used to 17 and 18, where the Swiss payroll had a completely different form view than the, let's say, Odoo standard payroll. So in this version we did a bit of moving around the fields to uniformize a bit with the Odoo standard. So you will have to kind of look back where your old fields were and get a bit used to the new ones. I know this will not be pleasant for people that got used to this, but we have to work with it. So let's put our birthday, 2000, January 1, gender female, address. You see that canton and municipality got auto-filled. Nationality, of course, she's Swiss. So she doesn't have source tax since she lives in Switzerland. We can save the informations. And now we set up her private informations. We now have to set up her payment informations, which everything happens in this tab. Oh, I also forgot to mention that this view is kind of new, because before we had the employee model and the contract model. Here we did some kind of UX mixing, where we fused the two together to have everything centralized in one view, so that you don't have to move back and forth to one model and the other. Here we centralized everything in the employee form view. And you can access all their historical data through the versioning system of Odoo. So we define her workplace, the employee reference, which is just a random number, her language, when did she start her contract, when did she enter the company, her wage, 5,000 per month. So that was it. Let's say she has a 30-month paid with this rate every month. We set up her insurances that we just created, her LA. And I said earlier, if you want to pay 100% of the non-occupational deductions, you just select the solution 2, because this is a specific case of the LA. You cannot say 100% for this solution. You have to say this is a solution of type 2. So this is how you select 100% payment of the non-occupational part. We define her LPP contributions, employee and employer, her code. And the last step, her salary certificate, her wage statement, which is pre-filled with our template. But we could, for example, make it different for her. We could select this, for example, for her, or pick this, for example. And I think we should be good for Laurie. Let's work now with a funnier case. Michel admin, let's make it as complicated as possible. So personal. Let's make him retired actually. Okay, maybe not that old. Okay, that should be good. Gender male. Nationality, he's French. He has a B permit, so he's staying, he has to renew it every year. He's subject to source tax. Up. Payroll information. We provide a workplace, same process. Hourly wage, 50 an hour. Here we can define his holiday compensation rate and his public holiday compensation rate. And we have the option to choose to pay it every month or to keep it in a stock where it adds up every month, and once he takes his vacation, it gets paid out. Of course, some CCT require this mechanism. Let's give him a 30-month. And let's say his contract started on the 1st of January. Okay, for sure I might have forgotten some steps, but we'll see what it looks like once we do the batch. Oh, actually I said he was retired. So he has no LPP. Not insured. And let's specify in the AVS status that he is retired. Specify his wage statement. And here in like, how much time did I take? 5 minutes. We have our 3 employees with all their information. This is what I pre-configured for me. With all my informations, a very nice wage for me since I'm CEO of the company. And we go on to the next step, which is the core interest here, creating our payslips. So we kind of made it a bit prettier in 19. Payslips work with payslips run now. So this is to create a run for a specific month. So 1st of January. All employees, all structures. We select everyone. And we have our wages to 0. Okay. So this is a local database. There might be some issues. This should be pre-filled normally. And what we see here as a new added thing is these warnings. So before you would need to go on each payslip and check this famous yellow box that means bad news. Now you can see it on the batch itself, who's missing what information. So this information is computed by creating a declaration in the backend, simulating a declaration, and checking the validity of it. So this is telling me that I'm missing the job. So let's add a job for him. He's an accountant. I update, my warning is updated. Here I'm missing my insurances, of course. Up. I'm missing my workplace as well. And we should be good. And this person is missing its job title as well. And of course her marital status, start date. She divorced the 1st of January. Everything is ready. We can check the gross and the net total. You can check, you can preview their salaries. Here we didn't input how many hours he worked. We can say it here by saying 50 hours, or you could pre-configure it in the wage types to say that every month he will work 50 hours, but here I set it on a payslip. We create the draft entry. I didn't configure, of course, bank accounts. This takes too much time, so I will skip it. Mark them as paid, and we are all done for January. So as you can see, the difference with the previous versions is, of course, it looks better. You have the warning system that is a bit more intuitive. You can see it on the whole list view of the payslips. You don't have to go individually through each payslip. And to have correct Swissdec declarations, just keep in mind that you should not have a yellow banner. If you don't have a yellow banner, you're good to go. And very nice step, very nice addition when you're Swissdec certified is that you can transmit everything electronically. So we'll go through the different declarations that exist. I think the most interesting one is the yearly one. So the process is in transmission, yearly salaries, and here you get the relevant month. So let's say December, and it will take all the payslips that were paid for this month. You can specify if it's a test declaration or a replacement declaration for one that was already validated. So let's see what happens if I declare my salary. That was the first step. So it's a 4-step process. You first send it, then you get the status, and the status gives you each response from each institutions. On each institution you have the possibility to fetch the result if it's ready, or you have the possibility to complete with this link, which will redirect you on the insurance website with your password and username pre-filled, and let you add more information on it. So that was the transmission process. We also have the different reports associated to it. So here we have the Swissdec AVS report, which is the standard one used by every software. And the most interesting one, I think, for everyone is the salary certificate, which is now generated directly on Odoo with the pretty code bar here, and with, of course, our beautiful signature here. So that was for the yearly declaration, where you can declare and generate any report. We also have the source tax transmission, which is done monthly. Here we made the pay for January. I think. Who had Swissdec? Laurie? Did I forget to check his Swissdec? Oh, I made a payslip for September. So we have to work on September, obviously. And here is our data for both our employees that are subject to Swissdec. You can preview the numbers and of course generate the associated report with it. All generated, of course, on Odoo. And it's the same process for any transmission. You first declare the salary, you get a status, and you get the result from the institution. Here it's saying that I didn't do the completion, which happens on the administration website. And we also have the EMA declaration, which is not applied everywhere. This serves to declare entries and withdrawals from your company, and it has a very nice feature where you're able to get your insurance certificates for your employees directly from the software. So here I declared an entry in January for my 3 employees. I get the result from the AVS, and in the details I can generate my proof of insurance for my different employees, of course in Odoo as well. Of course this is a test server, so it doesn't match my real employees, but you get the idea. And we also have the statistic declaration, of course, which happens every month. Not every company does it, but you have to know that since it's mandatory by Swissdec, you have it as well if you need it. So I think I presented everything I had to present. I think I showed the main points. Not much has changed, of course. It's a certified module. We're not allowed to go crazy and do what we want. So we adapted to the standard changes in 19. We we managed to not break anything, so everything is still running. And I hope that everyone is happy with this module. And if you have any feedbacks or requests, I'm the developer in charge of the module, so this is now your time to make a wish list maybe.
So
Let's look live.
Can you hear me well? Yeah.
Oula.
As you were saying, it's the wish list time, so I already put mine. Did you ever hear about the LPP in %?
Yes, I've heard about it at least 60 times this year, and it's something that will come. I'm scared to make now predictions on time, but I always like to give a best case and a worst case scenario. Best case would be end of September for his Odoo Academy, so he can showcase it. And worst case would be end of October.
And if it's implemented, will it take into account the coordination salary?
You will be able to input your coordination salary on the LPP institutions and get the right amounts.
How should salary certificates be managed individually and for a given month?
So to manage them individually, you have 2 options. You can generate them for the whole company and use split PDF, or you can send them individually through these sandwich statements.
All right.
And you will get them in this list view, and you can download them individually for each employee.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try to be a bit fast because we already finished the time, but I was allowed 3 more minutes. If we have multiple LPP, should we create multiple AVS? Because the LPP field on the AVS form is a many-to-one.
I think so, yeah. I think you should create multiple AVS because in the declaration file, this is also a many-to-one. You cannot put multiple LPPs on that field. So
So
I
that
think so
means
too.
I can put several times the same AVS, same one, and transmission will be
No,
okay?
I think no. I think the real answer is you have to put your main LPP. You don't have to create multiple AVS and put all your LPPs inside. This AVS, this LPP field on the AVS by Swissdec documentation is the main one.
Do you already support, thank you, do you already support social security entries translated with German terms for Swiss German speaking area too?
What is the social security entries?
I'm not sure.
Can you precise what you mean by that?
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one in the meantime. Why don't you see the wage types on the employee now for
Aha.
the not one-time payment, but for the recurring one, I believe?
I think I skipped that part, but your monthly wage types are here. So you could add any type of recurrent wage type. Let's imagine a commitment bonus every month of 300 francs. Or you could have one-time payments where you choose the month of the payment and you could add, for example, a commission of 5,000 francs.
Okay, thanks. That was my question actually. So now how can we handle heure piqué from the attendance app? Because we have many employees and we don't really want to do an export, import of heure piqué.
Of course, a very recurrent question as well. The link with other apps of Odoo, link with attendance, link with timesheet, link with all these apps that record time. This is something that is not done yet, but it's obviously in the roadmaps. It's one of the main things that comes all the time. It will come, and it will come, of course. When I make a change, it's always from 17, since the module has to be the same for every version. Each change that is made is always made first in 17 and then forward-ported to all the next versions. So the link with these modules will be made to avoid for big companies that have a lot of employees to do some either importation of records from Excel, because this is what we want to avoid in Odoo, or a lot of manual inputs.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, we really have to go. But a lot of them are pretty fast to answer, so documentation is coming as soon as we have the development, but it's again, you're going to doing it himself. We have new features for the EGM % that is not 50% as well.
Yeah. This is something where you can define a specific amount of employee parts, since I've learned that some CCTs use some very obscure percentages like 66.83562 for the employee part. So this is something that we will add in the next few weeks with the LPP in percentage.
Okay, maybe the last question.
Yeah.
And so it's in French. So comment paramétrer dans Odoo les spécificités de la LAAC lorsque les plafonds de cotisation changent et que les déductions doivent être ventilées?
This is the same question. So I know it is presented as 4 different configurations, but this is actually just a problem of being able to define a customizable employee rate. Or an alternative would be to directly specify your employee rate separately. So you would have the employee rate, so 2 solutions with 2 rates that makes 4 possible configurations. So this is something that will be handled in the next few weeks.
Well, there is one last question for the SEPA, but I think now it's working, or you can check with accounting. But I think we can all agree that Jürgen has done a crazy job all by himself. So please join me in the last round of applause.
Okay.